Hello and welcome. My name is, and I'm a hotel AI expert with quite a bit of experience in modern hospitality operations. Today, we're going to dive into something that's truly changing the way hotels operate, the science of staffing. Think of it. What if you could scientifically predict the perfect time for every single staff member to be on the floor every single day? That's what we're exploring. I'm really pleased to welcome all the students of Europe Hotel School to this online learning journey. This program is all about giving you practical, real-world knowledge that you can actually use. We're going to be looking at how real hotels operate, guided by industry experience and these new, powerful AI-supported practices. We're here to support your professional growth, so let's get started. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the single biggest financial challenge for any hotel. Then, we'll explore a totally new way to think about scheduling. We'll jump into the AI technology that powers it all, see exactly how it works, and look at how it changes a manager's role. And finally, we'll look at the incredible results that prove this whole approach really works. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room for any hotel manager: labor cost. It's the biggest expense you have that you can actually control. But here's the thing, controlling it doesn't mean just cutting hours. It means being smarter. It means being precise. For decades, how did managers build their schedules? Well, it was usually based on a gut feeling or, even worse, just copying last week's schedule and pasting it into this week. But stop and think about that for a second. Is this coming Thursday really going to be exactly the same as last Thursday? Probably not. That old way of doing things was, frankly, a recipe for being inefficient. And this chart really gets to the heart of it. The old way was reactive. You were always playing catch up. You would either be overstaffed when it was quiet, just burning money, or you'd be understaffed when a surprise rush came in, and that absolutely tanks the guest experience. The new proactive model, it flips that script entirely. You align your costs perfectly with revenue, which not only saves money, but actually makes guests happier. It's a total game changer. So, this all leads us to a completely new philosophy of management. It's about tearing down those old walls that used to separate departments, where finance did their thing and operations did theirs, and they barely talked. We call this the scientific approach. It's a huge shift away from saying, I feel like we're going to be busy this weekend. Instead, it's about saying, the data shows we need exactly 14 man-hours at the front desk between 3 and 6 p.m. Every single decision is backed by hard evidence, not just intuition. So, that sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually make it happen day to day? Well, the answer is technology. Specifically, it's AI-powered demand-based labor forecasting. And a major player in this space, a tool that really brings this whole philosophy to life, is a platform called Unifocus. This is the kind of system that allows hotels to turn all this great theory into a practical, daily operational plan. Let's peel back the layers a bit and see how this actually works. How does an AI platform predict the future with so much accuracy? It's not magic, believe me. It's a really logical, data-driven process. First, it just soaks up data. It pulls in everything: occupancy numbers, what events are happening in the ballroom, historical data, even what's going on in the city. Then the AI's predictive models get to work, finding patterns that no human ever could. From there, it calculates the precise number of work hours needed, hour by hour. And what you get at the end is this super detailed staffing guide for your managers. And here's where it gets really amazing. Look at this example. Let's say you're at 80% occupancy. The old way, just staff up everywhere. But the AI is smarter. It knows who those guests are. It sees it's a corporate group that's going to check out early and need a lot of help with their bags, so it recommends you add more bell staff and front desk agents between 7 and 10 a.m. But then it also tells you to reduce restaurant staff after 9:30 because those same guests are heading to their meetings, not having a long, lazy breakfast. That is surgical precision. Now, a really fair question is, okay, so does this technology just replace the manager? And the answer is a huge no. In fact, it does the opposite. It empowers them. It frees them up from guesswork and turns them from firefighters into actual strategists. The key is getting managers to shift their mindset away from thinking in those old, rigid 8-hour blocks. It's about moving to a much more fluid, variable scheduling model that can flex and adapt to what the demand actually is hour by hour. The system also creates this fantastic layer of accountability. So in this case, the AI predicted 350 hours for housekeeping, but the manager scheduled 370. Now, the system doesn't say, no, you can't do that, but it does flag that 20-hour difference and asks for a reason. And that simple step right there builds an incredibly powerful culture of financial discipline. Okay, so we've got the new philosophy and this powerful tool. But what about the results? What's the real bottom line impact when a hotel actually does all this? Well, the numbers really do speak for themselves. Hotels that go all in on this scientific approach typically see their total labor costs drop by 5 to 10%. Now, if your payroll runs into the millions of dollars a year, well, you can do the math. That is a massive saving that goes straight to profit. But here's the absolute best part, and you really need to get this. Those savings are not achieved by cutting corners on service. It's the exact opposite. Because you always have the right people in the right place at the right time, guest satisfaction scores consistently go up. You're cutting the waste, not the excellence. At the end of the day, what you get is a management team that is completely transformed. They spend their time looking ahead and executing a plan, instead of constantly reacting to problems. They're playing chess, not checkers. They are always one step ahead of the game. And that really brings us to the ultimate goal, the core idea of modern hospitality management. It's simple. Always be staffed for success, to deliver that amazing guest experience, but never, ever be staffed for waste. So, as you continue your studies and move into your careers, this is the one question I want you to keep asking yourselves and asking your future teams. Is our hotel staffed for success, or is it staffed for waste? Because finding the right answer to that question will be the difference between a good hotel and a truly great one. Thank you.